COVID-19 pandemic of 2020 took a lot of things away from a lot of people. Many, like PWBA Kickoff Classic participant Christy Leong, lost loved ones.
My dad passed away of COVID on December 7th. He was definitely the driving force behind my bowling. I have a patch, his initials, and I'm just wearing it here because it's close to my heart.
For the athletes on the PWBA Tour, it ended up taking away a full season of their careers. But the pandemic also brought on a wave of creative solutions from PWBA staff for how to get bowling back on the lanes safely. After months of planning, the full commitment of PWBA athletes to accept the safety protocols that were put in place, and many anxious moments as the pandemic mounted wave after wave of new infections, the successful and safe return of the PWBA Tour brought a much-needed symbolic victory to the staff, athletes, and fans who were yearning for a return to relative normalcy. The planning of the PWBA Kickoff Classic and whether or not to move forward with the event came down to one simple question for PWBA staff. Can we keep everyone safe?
Yeah, it's just months in the making. What could we do with the way that, times change every 10 minutes? You can, refresh a website and updates have been made. So we have a great team here on campus, work with PWBA, USBC, BPAA to make sure that this event is as safe as possible. It's just been a process, but it's all been worth it.
USBC Short Duration Tournaments Manager Rob Gottschall and PWBA Director of Operations Tennille Milligan were tasked with putting together the protocols and procedures that could accomplish this goal. Once the procedures were in place, it was up to the PWBA athletes to buy into the concept.
So this is going to be home sweet home for the next roughly 2 weeks. Pretty excited to get to bowl and get to see people I haven't seen in a while, so we'll see what the week brings.
PWBA staff secured 2 floors of a hotel located just across the street from the International Training and Research Center for the athletes and staff to live for the 10-day duration of the event. They also arranged for catered food to be brought in for every meal, employing a staggered delivery rotation to accommodate the different schedules for the athletes and staff. COVID testing protocols were also put in place, requiring all participants and staff to take 3 COVID PCR tests before and during the event, as well as wearing masks at all times and adhering to strict social distancing protocols. With everything set to go, staff transformed the ITRC into a PWBA venue to host the greatest women bowlers in the world.
It's amazing to be able to be nervous again about putting on a class act event. And not that anybody's counting, but when the first ball is thrown for competition, it will be 490 days since the last national tour stop.
When athletes began arriving in town on the weekend prior to the first event, everyone took a second COVID PCR test and retired to their rooms to wait anxiously for the results.
We get to go outside! Bree, how do you feel?
What are you gonna work on while you're up?
What's up? Ladies, welcome to the PWBA Kickoff Classic Series.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV's coverage of the 2021 PWBA Tour season, the triumphant return.
First of 3 national tour titles awarded during the kickoff event was the Bowlers Journal Classic. Christy Leong jumped out to an early lead and ended up qualifying for her first ever match play finals.
My dad passed away of COVID on December 7th, and he would always tell me that I was a frame or 2 behind. So I'm making a promise to myself that I need to be ahead of the changes. He was definitely the driving force behind my bowling. I wasn't necessarily looking to be so competitive, and he, from an early age, just kind of made us bowl. So I really attribute all of this to him. I have a patch, his initials, and I'm just wearing it here because it's close to my heart. So I'm hoping that he stays with me. I did trip out a couple 4s and some Brooklyn carries and a few spares that I probably should have missed, but they somehow fell. So he's with me, and I know he's watching, and I'm pretty sure he's proud.
Several familiar faces rounded out the list of finalists, including Ashley Galante, Danielle McEwen, Missy Parkin, Aaron McCarthy, reigning PWBA Rookie of the Year Valerie Bercier, and 2-time reigning PWBA Player of the Year Shannon O'Keefe. A 16-year-old amateur from Stowe, Ohio, named Jillian Martin, also made the match play round and would end up providing the most electrifying highlight of the day when she closed out the morning session with a run at her first certified 300 game.
Jillian Martin looking for 11 in a row to start the final game here. He's going to have a chance to get up the hill. Oh, mix him up. Here we go, folks. Front 11, Jillian Martin. JT is saying, inside note, this would be her first 300 ever. What? Going for her first career 300 here, live on Bowl TV at the PWBA Bowlers Journal Classic. We'll find a little hold.
Oh, man.
299, the 4-pin left standing for Jillian. Holy cow, what a game. Jillian, hello.
Hi.
We got to start off right now. JT said that would have been your first 300 ever?
My first sanctioned one, yeah. It was crazy. It was a lot of pressure, but I enjoyed the moment, and I didn't get it done, but I'm still pretty happy with that.
But in the end, a couple of very familiar faces ended up on top and would face each other in the title match.
Bowlers Journal Classic 2021, kicking off the PWBA Tour in style here with a battle of titans, if you will. Danielle McEwen, Shannon O'Keefe. Fairly the same spot, but I'm getting a note that Chuck Gardner's saying a ball change, same ball, but pin up. Is that going to make it back? Oh,
my goodness gracious.
Another 8-pin on lane 10. We saw one from O'Keefe, and now Danielle. Goodness. Final shot here. Shannon O'Keefe once again besting Danielle McEwen in a title match here on the PWBA Tour, and will hold the early advantage once again here. And what a performance, just going from that second, third, and fourth frame. We see the hug there. Let's be the first to congratulate Shannon O'Keefe, 2021 Bowlers Journal Classic champion.
Yay!
Definitely, we need to thank the PWBA for giving us this opportunity, USBC and BPAA. We can't do this without them, and for them to create a safe environment for us to be able to compete and do it this way is truly incredible.
As much as the first event of the Kickoff Classic seemed to show how little the world of professional women's bowling had changed, the second event could not have been more off-script. After dominating the event's first tournament, PWBA superstar Danielle McEwen struggled during qualifying, and not only missed the cut to match play for that event, but also for the PWBA Hall of Fame Classic, warranting an early trip home for the back-to-back #2 ranked player in the world.
Taking a look, Danielle McCune did not strike over on lane 5, so
that's it, right?
Still have it. Yep, she's down to 211.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Wow, that's shocking.
Liz Johnson, meanwhile, put on a blistering display of bowling, averaging more than 253 for her first 8 games of qualifying. But the big story of the match play finals ended up being Jillian Martin, who held the lead going into the position round and hung on to become one of the youngest ever to qualify for the stepladder finals in PWBA history.
Looking for the first one in the 10th. Oh, she shot 289 against Liz Johnson. She's going to get the opportunity again in the opening match of the stepladder finals of the ITRC Classic. Unofficially, Brianna Cote, the top seed, Dasha Kovalova 2, Jillian Martin 3, Liz Johnson 4.
Martin would then knock out Johnson, and 2019's breakout star Dasha Kovalova on her way to facing Brianna Cote in the title match.
16-year-old's going to bowl for the title next. Carolyn, can you believe that?
I can believe it. I didn't know if it was going to happen, but I can believe it.
After Martin finished with a big 238, Cote needed a mark to take home her second career PWBA title.
Spare and 5 pins to win her second career PWBA Tour title and first since 2016.
Looks perfect.
Yep.
Oh, hit it twice. PWBA ITRC Classic champion Brianna Cote.
You know, she bowled phenomenal, and she was definitely pushing me to be better and all the other women out here. And she's, you know, when she's, you know, old enough to join us full time, we're gonna have a run for our money. But I told my bar ups this week, I was like, oh man, to have a 16-year-old mind right now where everything's just turned off and you are 100% fearless.
So we've got a really difficult question to start with. Did you have any fun out there today?
Yes, I did. Do not worry. I had tons of fun. It was so exciting. Definitely some nerves too, but hey, it was great.
All right, Jillian, we're going to let you go for the day, but you're the next big star in bowling. Congratulations, and we can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
After the completion of the second tournament in the series, all athletes and staff were required to take a third and final COVID PCR test. While the athletes awaited the results, those who qualified for the Hall of Fame Classic had a day of rest, while the non-qualifiers and a few other participants competed in the PWBA Arlington Regional. Jacqueline Evans threw a clutch 237 in the final match to capture the win.
There it is. Congratulations to Jacqueline Evans.
But the big story of the event ended up being the return of former PWBA Rookie of the Year Jody Shearer, who finished second after a nearly 2-decade layoff from competition.
So I found this photo here that I wanted to share with you. So from the 99 program book, thought that was pretty awesome.
Thank you so much. And that picture is only 2 years ago, right? No, my young baby face on that one. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that's believed in me back home.
The final title of the kickoff series was the PWBA Hall of Fame Classic. The top 24 scorers from the first 2 events qualified for the 24-game match play round, with all pins dropped. Lindsay Boomershine, who had spent her time off working on a new mental game approach, would grab the top seed for the stepladder finals after 24 grueling games of match play. 16-year-old Jillian Martin would continue to impress, earning the #2 seed and making her second consecutive stepladder finals appearance. Erin McCarthy, who was unsure of how sharp she would be due to her lack of practice time as she worked extra shifts as a registered nurse during the pandemic, also qualified for a second stepladder finals. Dasha Kovalova also made a second stepladder finals appearance as well, qualifying 5th. In the opening match, Kovalova would take on Julia Bond, who dominated PWBA regional competition in 2019 after a stellar collegiate career at Nebraska. Bond would knock off each of the competitors in her way, and the final match against Boomershine would come down to a nerve-wracking last frame.
We got a couple of photo finishes here, Carolyn. I like to see that.
I do. It makes it exciting. My hands are sweating again.
There it is. Perfect shot. 9 on 2 balls for her first title. Should be proud of that one. That was absolutely perfect, both of them.
Big shout out to the PWBA for how they, in the ITRC, it was definitely a team effort to come together and be committed to the plans and the protocols that we have. So really, without all those people, we wouldn't be here. So thank you.
Excellent. Well said.
What did it mean the most to you about running this event?
It was so important. It was very, very important. 490 days, I think, is what the number we counted up before, since we had an event. Better than 12 years. Better than 12 years. So 490 days to get women's bowling back on, Bowl TV, back in front of the fans, and more importantly, for them, for those athletes, to have a place to play and be excited again. That's why it was so important. I think to show, hey, bowling's back. We're not going anywhere. We just had to find the right time and, of course, how safe we can do so.
The story of how the PWBA Kickoff Classic came to happen is something people may not remember when they look back and see the names and photos of the event champions. But everyone who was a part of it will remember, because they will remember the joy of getting to be back to almost normal once again, after so much darkness and pain had taken so much away from us all. And they will remember being a part of the joy that is pursuing or watching the pursuit of something pure, something they love, something that the children inside of us forever hoped to recapture and weren't sure we would ever get back.